Okay, so people get really hung up about writing. Honestly, it's not that bad. I'm going to show you how you can write an essay in a couple of minutes. And you basically have to skim first. So before we jump in, it says in an argument of essay, you have to express your opinion, right? So is it wrong to retouch photos? We're going to pick what side. So you drag an X next to the point of view. Yes, editing photos hurts teens. No, retouching is a big deal. Me personally, I think it hurts people. So I'm going to put that right there. So now I put that X there, that means that I'm going to be talking about how editing photos sucks. You shouldn't do it. It's not a good idea. I've already provided sentence frames for us here so that we can already use those, which is pretty easy to fill in. But you can always feel free to change these up a little bit if you'd like to make things more unique. But it's like a canvas. Start off on it, and then you can make it your own. So the topic sentence says what we're going to be about. So we already know this, right? Retouching photos is I picked the bad, right? So it's a bad idea. Retouching photos is a bad idea because it can, double click this again, let's highlight all of it. What's good or bad? I'm just gonna say off the top of my head, retouching photos is a bad idea because it can cause kids to feel bad about themselves, right? Boom, there it is. So I've got that part, but I need to find evidence of that. So let's take a look and see how we can find some evidence inside of the article. Okay, so we've got the article here. Is it wrong to retouch photos? Now, we could read through this entire thing, or we could just look for the parts that we need to find. This is called skimming. So we can already tell by the picture that when you retouch things, they have bigger eyes, no pimples, wider teeth, it makes people look better, right? So go past this part, better or worse, right? Let's skim through this and see what we can find. And by skimming, I mean we just read kind of quickly. It says these days, millions of people around the world retouch photos, right? We're looking for why it's a bad idea, help. Most teenagers say these apps, use apps for radical blah, blah. They say it's fine, right? It's tempting. Doesn't tell us about how it's bad. Retouching photos is a way of leveling the playing field. They're going to look great. Doesn't tell us about how it's bad. So we're going to keep going. Here we go. Too perfect. Now, looking at this, we could tell that maybe they're going to talk about how it's bad. Using that power every once in a while is no big deal, right? Not if everyone is doing it. Now we're going to start finding our evidence here. Kylie, 16, worries that photo editing apps create one idea what is beautiful. Her Instagram feed is full of people with perfect smiles, no pimples. It gives us a false idea that everyone looks like that. We feel bad about ourselves. So that is our first piece of evidence that we're going to use talking about why photo editing sucks. So we're going to take this, bring it back over to here. We're going to keep that highlighted just so that we see it. So we're on the next part, summarize the issue. We're going to talk about both sides here, right? We already have our good and bad. So we're just going to summarize it real quick, right? Talk about how one side thinks it's okay, talk about whether it's not okay. We leave our opinion out of this. So we're going to summarize this. So how do we summarize it? We can say right here, let's see if I can get there right there. If I can get my arrows working. There it is. Some people think that it's okay to retouch photos. For example, and then let's find someone that said it was okay, right? I think some dude said it up here, let's see here. For example, they say that minor changes can make social media less stressful. Change your appearance. So we're going to paraphrase that. Minor changes can make social media less stressful. We're going to put that in our own words. So, for example, some people, right there, some people think it helps people to be less stressed out when sharing photos online. Now we have to put the other side of the issue. So we're going to take a look at that. Okay, so we talked about how some people think it's okay. Now we just got to find that little piece that says it's not okay. And we're going to summarize it, which means we're not going to put it in words that, they said. We're going to put it in our own words. We already have it here. Remember, highlight it right there. Not everyone's doing it. Instagram is full of people with perfect smiles, no pimples. It gives us a false idea that everyone looks like that. We feel bad about ourselves. So we could say, however, let's add a little bit more. However, some people think it's not okay to retouch photos. And then we can use for example, or I like using this one, for instance, is another way of saying for example. Some teenagers believe that altering photos can make people feel bad about themselves. There it is. Now we've got our summary. All right, look at that paragraph. Looks pretty solid, right? I mean, we've got good summary, both sides. So now we're going to support our opinions. This is where we're going to put down where we are saying it's a good idea, not a good idea to do it, right? It's a good idea to not do this. So first reason why retouching photos is we're going to put in bad idea, right, is because then we have to put in our reason. Then we have to put in a second reason. We have to put in a last reason. So we're going to find reason number one, right? Reason number one is, it says right here in retouching photos, right? Worries that photo editing apps create an idea of what is beautiful. So we could say right here is because as what was her name? Kylie Yee, right? We got to make sure we quote her, says in the article, this is called paraphrasing, but it does work. Photo editing apps create one idea of what is beautiful. So we can say photo editing apps, says in the article that photo editing apps create only one idea of what is beautiful. And this is kind of her words, but we are citing the article there. We're saying where we got it from. So that should be good enough, right? Now we got to come up with a second reason why it's a bad idea. So let's see if we can find another one. Science has proven this is true. Your body image is the way you feel about your look. In one study, seeing retouched selfies lowered body image in teen girls. So here we go. Second reason why it's a bad idea is because, as scientists have found in the article, it can lower people's self-esteem when looking at, what do they say exactly? Let's see, we're looking at retouched selfies. So that's the reason. And then finally, the last reason why it's a bad idea, and we have one more. He insists they can always tell when a phone has been Facetune. This is hard to fool them. Kyla says not to matter. Sometimes she'll play around the app for fun, but it still messes with your mind. It starts to wish what you look like in real life. So you can say here, it'll make people want to be that. So as Kyla says, using these apps can make people want to change their appearance to look better, right? And make it worse. So that's our three reasons right there, right? We've got them first, second, third. We've used some quotes from the article, and notice I didn't even have to leave this area, right? It's pretty easy to just find in a couple of paragraphs. So we're almost there. We've done step 3, we've done step 4. Now we just have a few more steps left. Now we have to mention the other side. Anytime we argue against something, we have to say what the other side is saying and then prove them wrong, right? Basically, it's like, oh, this person said this, but they're stupid because it's stupid. But let's take a look at the frame. Some believe that retouching photos is, right, good, bad, opposite of what we picked. So we picked that's bad, so we're going to say they're saying it's good. So we can say, some believe that retouching photos is good, right? I'll take that one and just erase that one there. That way we don't have to worry about it. And then why is it be good? So why is it good according to them? So let's look back to this and see what we can find. So it's Ron and Touch Photos. It says right here that, let me see what a good one here. Who doesn't want to feel better about how they look? So it says right here, most teenagers use minor changes, not to dramatically change their appearance, right? So it says that they're small changes, right? So you can say, some people believe that retouching photos is good because it only does small changes to help teens feel better, right? Removing some pimples and things like that. Well, now we got to shut that argument down. So their argument is wrong because, and here's maybe what we could say. It's wrong because even though they are minor changes, these are a slippery slope and can lead to teens making major changes with surgery in the future, right? It starts off with a pimple. Before you know it, and someone's getting a nose job, right? It's a slippery slope, right? They like, oh, maybe this pimple, maybe this, maybe I can alter this, maybe I can alter this, and then it goes downhill, and eventually then they totally fail, right? So we said why their argument is wrong, right? That small changes can lead to big ones, right? Now the last paragraph of the essay, we're just going to remind readers of your points. We're summing it up, right? So in conclusion, retouching photos is not okay, right? Because, and then briefly say our 3 reasons why. What are our 3 reasons? It said here, photo editing apps only show one idea of what's beautiful, so they lower self-esteem, and they can make people want to change their appearance. So because, you know, these apps only show what one side of beauty, right? Beauty, and then have another one, beauty. They can encourage students to undergo cosmetic, it's a weird word, surgery, and they make teens feel bad about themselves, right? So that's kind of just our basic reasons there. So we got those out of the way. People should not retouch photos because, and what's something bad that can happen if they do, because then they might feel bad about their bodies and do something crazy to themselves, right? Like plastic surgery or whatever, right? Overall, retouching photos, and now you put how you feel. Yeah, that's where you're putting your opinion. Retouching photos is a terrible idea that can cause a lot of depression and anxiety in people, right, across the globe, something like that. Right? Just a nice little wrapping of vote. That's it. You've made a 5-paragraph essay. Right here, we got the topic sentence, right? We got summary here, got our opinion, we've got our mentioning the other side and conclusion. This is basically, you put these together, and this is like totally 5 paragraphs, right? It says step 6, but if you smush the topic sentence together with your summarizing the issue, you got it. So that's how you write a 5-paragraph essay in 10 minutes or so. All right. Hopefully that helped you.